My name is Jane Haig, and this is today we're talking about Bible women in 1 Samuel. This is Karen Engelke. Thank you very much for letting us participate in this. So tell me about who you are and what brought you to St. Margaret's, and then we'll talk about our Women of the Day.
Women of the Day, right. I came to St. Margaret's in 2009, and I'd actually met James Fitzpatrick in 2007 when the city of Annapolis was creating Charter 300. And in 1708, we received our charter under Queen Anne of Great Britain and Ireland. And James came to the Arts Council to get a grant to compose a 7-piece music.
And you were part of the Arts Council?
I was working for the mayor, and so that was my project. The whole Charter 300 was my project. And when I came in, I had been attending other churches here in the area, and another church in the area. Everyone was so incredibly warm and welcoming.
Isn't it amazing? Yeah.
And I knew Tug Noor and I'm picturing his name anyway, and Lenny Rideout and others whom I'd met also working under Mayor Moyer, and it was just the most welcoming place I've been. So I'm really, really happy to be here. I've been on the I'm a Eucharistic minister, which I love, a lector on the grants committee now, and have been I forgot what they're called.
Vestry member?
Vestry member, yes, I've been a vestry member. I'm saving my tag so in case I get
re-elected sometime later.
All right. Future, so I'm really happy. And I'm also a mentor in Education for Ministry.
Yeah. Today we're learning about two fascinating women. One is a woman named Abigail, and the second is the Witch of Endor. Abigail was the wife of Nabal. Nabal was a angry, bitter man. David went to talk to Nabal, and Nabal sent him away. So David said, I don't like that, and so we are going to go to battle with Nabal and kill him. Nabal was a bully and a drunkard. Abigail heard about this, went off to David and said, please don't. Please don't attack my people. If you want food, here's the food. And David looked at her and said, well, if here is something good about this country, we will not attack them.
So she was a good intercessory for her people.
She was a real good ambassador for her people, because then Abigail goes back to tell Nabal this, finds him once again drunk, talks to him the next morning through his hangover, and somehow or another Nabal was so upset about what she had to say that he had a heart attack and died. Don't you love the Old Testament? So
yes.
David, hearing this, went to Abigail and said, I was so impressed with you, would you be my wife? And Abigail said, sure. So Abigail became David's second wife.
He had quite a few.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Frankly, she was one of the better of the group, but because his first wife was Saul's daughter. So anyway, that's the story about Abigail. To me, she's just a phenomenally wonderful image of righteous, yeah,
really righteous,
yeah, and also seemed to handle her drunken husband pretty well. So that's that, and tell us about the Witch of Endor.
Oh,
yeah.
I immediately snagged onto the witch, and it was interesting because witches were also known as prophets and clairvoyants, and able to tell the future. And one of the things I disagree with the author, Lindsay Freeman, is that telling fortunes was one of the few things that women could do. In the clairvoyants I've known, the prophets I've known, and we did talk about this in Education for Ministry this morning, this energy rises from within the person and is very difficult to tamp down. So there's just this inner force that brings out these comments on the future. I know that today there are men and women who talk to the dead. They have a seance, and that didn't seem to be her case. But in this case, Saul was the one actually who forbid any fortune-telling or witches, as they were called then. And so she was up in the hills in a cave, and knock, knock, knock on the door, and I don't think they had doors then, actually probably a hide that she moved aside. And there was this old man, obviously hungry, in great distress, with some companions. And she invited him in, and he said, well, I want you to call someone from the dead. And she said, I'm sorry, but
That's
I get killed
Yeah.
for that. You know, it's not just a fine. I could actually be executed for that. And he said, no, that's not going to happen. Who do you want to speak with? She said.
And Samuel.
He wanted to find out what was going to happen, because the next day his armies were facing enemies. And so Saul really wanted to know
The
what was
old
gonna
man at the
happen.
door was Saul.
Yes, he was Saul.
He did not tell that to the Witch of Endor, but yes, was Saul.
But she recognized it
Oh, okay.
when Samuel came that this was Saul.
Okay.
And she was terrified, but nevertheless, Samuel let Saul know that the end was coming the next day and that he would lose. And I guess Samuel then disappeared. I don't know what happened to him, but he went away. And it was very apparent that Saul and his companions had not eaten. So this witch, and I hate to call her a witch, I don't think that's a good name. That's, Medium, that's much better.
Or prophet. I like the word
prophet.
because-
Yeah, this prophet. Well, prophets don't often talk to the dead, I think. But anyway.
Nor do prophets sometimes talk and, yes,
Yeah.
carry messages of God. And maybe this wasn't a message of God. Anyway, go ahead.
So she saw that he was hungry and offered to fix him food, and he said, oh, no, I don't want to eat. But she insisted and killed her fatted calf and fed everyone. And sure enough, the next day during the battle, Saul was killed. So the witch didn't prophesy that he would die. Solomon told him he was going to die.
Oh,
But it's a fascinating
yeah.
little bit of history, and the fact that she is one of the few women who do actually speak. Her words are recorded, and I read it both in the New Annotated Oxford, which has really great footnotes,
Yes, it
and
does.
also
Yeah.
in my father's book, which is much simpler. The wording is much simpler.
Father's book.
Bible. My
Your father's Bible,
yeah.
which is King James?
No, actually, I have it here somewhere, but I can't find it right now. But anyway, it's a modern language.
Modern language.
And it was much more straightforward than the well-annotated Oxford Bible. So, witches can be good.
Yeah, no, and the fact that she, if she recognized Saul, she has such compassion for
Yes.
him and his
Yes.
colleagues that she insisted on feeding him,
Yes.
which is just amazing. That here she was, afraid of Saul, but she stopped to feed him, and that's.
I think also that really shows a lot of the character of a lot of people who do look for answers in sometimes unconventional ways.
Right.
And they need something. They're very needy. And in this case, Miss Endor recognized that and so gave him not only what he needed spiritually and emotionally, but also recognized the physicality of his hunger and pain. And that was probably the last meal he had.
Thank you. Thank
You're
you very
welcome.
much. This
You're
has been
welcome.
fun.